The Honor 8 Pro from earlier this year is a smartphone that almost came out of thin air. No one expected there to be an offering on the market that could take on the OnePlus 5, but Honor brought in their A game and offered an even better value proposition. Now again, it seems like Honor were holding for the right moment to enter the market yet again and perhaps take on the OnePlus 5T head-on with the View 10. This is Sandeep from RevAtlas. Let's see what Honor has in store for us. The build quality of the View 10 is pretty amazing. It feels wonderful to hold and use, and the slim 7mm profile ensures great handling and pocketability. It feels heavy despite being a bit lighter than the 8 Pro, however materials used and the way it has been constructed makes it feel more premium. The antenna lines are also redesigned and no longer in your face. The overall footprint is almost practically identical to the 8 Pro, but the taller display and lesser bezels make sure that the View 10 is a bit narrower while maintaining the same height and thickness. The 6-inch full view display has an aspect ratio of 18:9 and resolution of Full HD+, which is 2160 by 1080 pixels. That's a reduction in the pixel density compared to the 8 Pro, its predecessor, which also highlighted VR as an experience, especially since the box also doubled up as a VR headset. This time the display is perhaps more attractive and the new aspect ratio is more useful for reading and multitasking. However, the lower pixel density makes it less ideal for VR purposes. Other than that, the display looks great and offers good colors as well as sunlight legibility. The contrast levels are also pretty impressive for an IPS panel. One thing that seems to be missing is Corning Gorilla Glass. We aren't sure whether it doesn't have it or whether Honor forgot to mention it in the specifications. The display also has an ever so slight 2.5D curve and you can adjust the color temperature as well as the color mode from the settings. There's a smart rotate feature as well that's supposed to rotate the screen orientation by tracking your face, however that didn't really work for us. The View 10 follows the parent company's trend of moving the fingerprint sensor to the front just like they did with the P10 series and the Mate 10. The elongated sensor with rounded sides is pretty responsive and accurate in finger detection. It's an always active unit and also doubles up as home button to get you back to the home screen quickly just in case the on-screen nav keys have been minimized. You no longer have the ability to navigate between photos or bring down the notification drawer, but you can still use your fingerprint to secure apps and files. There is facial recognition as well, but we were only able to get it to reveal the notifications to us and not actually unlock the phone. For unlocking, we still had to resort to using our fingerprint or the backup authentication method. We hope that they add a full-blown facial recognition unlock feature with a future firmware update. The software is based on Android 8.0 Oreo with EMUI 8.0 on top. Despite the customizability, the UI itself is quite quick and fluid, probably also owing to the octa-core Kirin 970 chipset underneath it. Performance is really good and it handles multitasking like a breeze too, thanks to 6 gigs of RAM. The only slight hiccup is the gaming performance, which while still great in its own right, isn't as good as some Snapdragon 835 powered phones. It doesn't really heat up even when multitasking, but does get a bit warm, especially if you're gaming while charging or using the GPS a lot. Nothing too alarming though. There's 128 gigs of storage as well to store all of your content. One amazing thing about the View 10 is that it not only has a hybrid dual SIM slot that allows 2 nano SIMs if you're willing to forego the memory card slot, but also the fact that it supports dual SIM 4G LTE and dual VoLTE connectivity at the same time. I was able to successfully get my Vodafone and Jio SIM on 4G, and it also allows you to assign a default SIM for data and also configure internet access during calls. There may be other phones out there that support this, but I haven't come across any personally, and this is a major feature for most people. Call quality is great and cellular reception is one of the best that we have seen. The loudspeaker is fairly loud, but it's a bottom firing unit and is a mono experience. Having a stereo setup or perhaps an earpiece that chimes in at least during landscape mode like some Huawei Mate devices would have been a great addition. Audio quality over the earphones are pretty good, but we felt that it lacked in terms of volume output, especially for earphones or headphones that require more power. At the back is a dual camera setup in typical RGB plus monochrome fashion that we have come to expect from Huawei and Honor. It's a 16 megapixel RGB sensor and 20 megapixel monochrome sensor, both mated to f1.8 lenses, and they perform pretty well. We'll be doing a detailed camera review of the rear cameras and the front-facing 13-megapixel f2 camera pretty soon, but until then, here are some samples to help you get an understanding on what to expect. The camera also has intelligent shooting modes that automatically get selected by the onboard AI. We'll get in depth about the AI features on the View 10 in a future video as well. There's a 3750 mAh battery on board that's a bit of a step down compared to the 4K mAh unit on the 8 Pro. However, the lesser pixel density has resulted in a battery life that's almost the same for the most part, if not better. We got around 6 to 6.5 hours of screen on time mostly, and that should last many people a full day of use. In case you are a heavy user like me, the bundle quick charger that supports 5V at 2A or 9V at 2A will get your phone topped up pretty quickly through the USB Type-C port. The Honor View 10 is a really great device, and I feel it's an even more attractive package than what the 8 Pro was at the time of its release. It's got a great camera, beautiful screen, good battery life, and good performance. However, one thing that we don't know yet is the pricing of the device. Naturally, there will also be comparisons drawn between the View 10 and the OnePlus 5T, as they are expected to be priced in and around the same region. We'll be doing detailed comparisons between the two very shortly as well. That's it for this video, guys. You can purchase the smartphones from the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next one.